Did you know that for every one person that dies from a smoking-related illness, 20 more suffer from a smoking-related illness such as congestive heart failure, emphysema, asthma, and the list of related illnesses go on and on. My name is Greg McGee, and thanks for tuning in. Today we're here to talk about the very controversial issue of smoking in Ohio and in the United States in general. I feel that this problem is not going to go away on itself. There's going to have to be significant intervention plans to combat this issue. Since it's during the 1940s and 50s, nearly 50% of all Americans smoked. In those days, the health repercussions were unknown, but with recent health studies, a lot of the issues have came to the forefront. Now, I do feel that we have taken a step in the right direction. That number has been reduced now to about 35%, but 35% of 300 million people is still a lot of people that are at risk, and not to mention the lasting effects of secondhand smoke. There's a lot of statistics that support this problem. There's so many, in fact, that it's impossible to remember and to recite them. So I'm going to read off a few in detail here to show that there is, in fact, a very large problem. In children, the risk for smoking mothers are low birth weight, sudden infant death syndrome (SIDS) has been a large problem, and it's shown that there has been, even in cases where smoking has not been reported, there has been significant nicotine present in the lungs of children that die of sudden infant death syndrome. Cognitive impairments. One of the things that has really came to the forefront here in the last 10 years has been the effects of learning disabilities on children, and smoking can be linked to 21.9 million children are estimated to have been affected mentally by the effects by smoking and nicotine and all that goes with smoking and secondhand smoke. It is also linked to behavioral problems such as ADHD, and girls are at a higher risk of this than boys, even though boys tend to act out more with the hyperactivity disorder than act out more in way of aggression than the girls do when they're exposed. Obviously, with taking in smoke in your lungs, respiratory problems are huge. There is between 150,000 and 300,000 annual cases of respiratory tract infections in infants that is linked to smoking. Let's skip the page here. Get my resources in order. I apologize. Also, asthma in children has been a huge problem, and there's about 1 million cases of asthma related to smoking. And this is all just the statistics for children who are non-smokers, just victims of secondhand smoke. Now, with the adults, with the first-hand exposure, there goes with secondhand exposure in motor vehicles is also a huge problem, and it's direct enclosure, so there's a lot more exposure to children, and this is really just its repercussions as adults is stuff that lasts for their entire lives. It's not something they outgrow. It is something that will stick with them their entire lives. And subjects hospitalized because of wheezing, and cases as that is nearing about 400,000 children a year are hospitalized for wheezing. And I feel that there's several solutions to this problem. I feel that Ohio's recent smoking ban has gone a long way in helping to stem some of the secondhand smoke problems that are from people that do not have smoking parents and have been subjected to smoke outside of the home. And since the ban, the rates of asthma in children has been reduced by about 25%. And that's, I feel, is a strong step in the right direction, but that still means that there is 75% that we can improve on. And I feel that, you know, there needs to be more reinforcement of the current laws. I feel that some of the current laws in place are good, but they need to be enforced. I feel that they're not being enforced as they should. And one of the things that I feel that really needs to be improved on is when you go to a school function and you see people smoking on school property outside of a school function, I feel that that should be reported and strictly enforced. There's a lot of families that do not smoke that are walking in and out of those doors, and there's multiple smokers in front of the doors of high schools. In past years, there used to be ashtrays right in front of the high schools for the smoking parents, and you've seen a lot of that go away, and that's, I feel, a step in the right direction, but there's still a long way to go there. You know, I believe it's the responsibility of the school to enforce this, and you know, to post in non-smoking areas strictly prohibited. And really, when you see the signs, you see people smoking right in front of them. They need to be enforced. What good does a sign do if there's, you know, if there's no repercussions of, you know, from the offense? And you know, something that I have witnessed firsthand, this problem, you know, and in 2000, my grandfather, he was 74 years old. He was a World War II veteran, and he was part of the generation that nearly 50% of Americans smoked. Well, he suffered from congestive heart failure, emphysema, and lung cancer, all from a long career of smoking. And it is just a terrible thing to watch, you know, a family member laying in the bed dying. And there's, you know, I'll never forget, you know, all the family sat there and watched Grandpa pass away, and then not but half an hour after he passed away, hospice came in and, you know, zipped him up in a body bag in front of the family and hauled him out the door. I mean, that's something that no one ever wants to witness, and if we don't stem this problem, it's something that many of us will witness at some point in our life. All of us know family members that smoke, and it's not an easy thing to quit, but it's needed. You know, the biggest thing I can say as far as taking action is just, if you see these offenses going on, you know, first of all, report them, especially school, you know, smoking in front of schools and school functions, track meets, football games, baseball games, etc. I feel should be reported and forbidden. And if they, you know, people, you know, do not comply with the rules, just simply ask them to leave. And you know, encourage your family to stop smoking. It's not only them that they affect, it's also you. You are the one that's left to pick up the pieces when, you know, it's all said and done. In conclusion, you know, just encourage family, report offenses, and I feel together we can all do our best to stop smoking and smoking related illness. Thank you all, and have a great evening.